All right, here we go. Colton, excuse me, going in for another league with Doomsday. List is still unchanged from last time. I just organized it a little bit on screen. I was trying to think if I could do anything spicy, but or play anything a little spicier. But I really like this list, and I think it's my best bet if I want to actually win some fucking games. So the Legacy Challenge, just the league. We'll just jump right in here. Okay. Wait, it's still on Lichentel for some reason. I don't want to start a league with Lichentel. That would have been a fucking mistake. Unless, of course, I 5-0'd, but that's pretty unlikely. We want Doomsday. I should change the name of this list to stock list. It used to be experimental, but now it's not. I mean, it's still got Frenzy in it, but here we go. Sherba, what's up? Thanks for tuning in. Came in at just the right time. Haven't even gotten into my first match yet, so you get to see the whole damn thing. Hopefully it doesn't take as long to find opponents as it did last time. Is there some other event going on today? Like a Modern Challenge or Pioneer Challenge or something? Pioneer Challenge is tomorrow. Or some kind of a PTQ. It might just not be a great time to actually, is there a Legacy PTQ or something going on? I can't remember. I felt like there was some of their event going on today, so it just might not be the best time to be trying to find league matches. If not, I'll just play some practice games or something. Oops. But I'd rather entertain than cool. I mean, your English seems all right to me, but I'm glad you like the videos. I will I try to be informative. So I hope it's informative. And I hope my speech is not too difficult to follow. I know I can talk pretty fast sometimes. Yeah, this is taking a while. Oh, we got an opponent. All right. Just have to complain enough, and then they give you an opponent. Sand. All right. This hand is. As it is, this hand can win on turn 4. I don't think I'm going to throw it back. I think it's good enough, but it's not super great. Especially if this is burn. But I don't think burn would keep a hand that didn't play something on turn 1, though. So, more likely that this is something like Dragon Stompy. And they didn't have a turn 1 play. But even for Dragon Snobby, what the... Okay, it's probably Sneak and Show, and they didn't have a blue mana source. So they might have, like, Ancient Tomb and a Lotus Petal for next turn, or something like that. That's what I think this is. My best guess. It's the only deck I can think of, yep, that would play. There's the sneak attack. Okay. That's not good. I really need another discard spell. Or for them to just not have anything. There's no point in me playing my Lion's Eye Diamonds right now. Because it's probably better to just hide some information if I can. Yeah, here comes something big. Griselbrand. Alright, I'm just going to concede. They're very likely to draw another big creature to sneak in which case there's no point in me continuing on. So, against Sneak and Show, you want Flusterstorms and Pyroblast. The Cabal Rituals come out. What else can come out? The Conjurer's Bauble can come out. We're not going to bring Tendrils in. And that's it. So that was a pretty unfortunate opening game. Okay, so this hand turn kills on turn 2 and has a Thoughtseize to start. So that's pretty good. So just Thoughtseize here. And I'm going to take the Brainstorm because their hand doesn't do anything without it. Not fast enough anyway. And I'll basically just hope that they don't draw like a Flusterstorm or Spell Pierce or something. And I'll just kill them. Playing out the Lotus Petal. Alright. And now we just hope for the best. Here's good clean magic. I'm wondering if I can do something here to play around a potential counterspell on this cantrip. So here's what I'm thinking. With this cantrip here, if I go put Jace on the bottom and then LED, Act and Impulse, Preordain. So now I can whole priority Brainstorm, crack one Lion's Eye Diamond because I don't need more than one. And if they, fluster this or something, okay, they just scooped. That's fine. If they flustered that, then next turn I would be able to draw the Preordain into Act and Impulse and still kill them. And if they didn't, I would be able to draw the Act and Impulse, and Act on Impulse would hit 2 LEDs and the Preordain, and I would just be able to Preordain into Jace and win anyway, so it didn't really matter. It was just a way to play around a potential top deck Flusterstorm on the Brainstorm, although they probably should have hit Doomsday with a Flusterstorm if they had one. I'm not going to make any changes for sideboarding. I don't really like Surgical. It's not bad, but I just like Surgical Extraction doesn't do anything unless you have discard to go with it. And if you have a discard spell, like it's already doing its job, like the discard spell is already doing its job. And so I'm gonna keep this because it's got land and a Flusterstorm and discard. And so I don't know. I'm not a big fan of matchups where you need to combine surgical or combine discard with surgical for surgical to be any good. All right, I'm gonna hold up Fluster here. I really want to find a second land though. A second land would be like the best possible draw here. I think I don't think I can not hold up Flusterstorm. So I'm just going to pass. My concern is that if they play Sneak Attack, that Flusterstorm doesn't do anything. In which case, I just held on too long. This hand would have been a lot better if it had like a second land instead of one of the cantrips, probably. Come on, land. Frick. I feel like if I play a land here, or if I cantrip here and it gets countered or I don't hit a land, I feel like I'm just asking to lose the game. But I don't think I'm gonna win the game if I don't try to find a second land, because I'm just too far off from doing anything if I don't have more mana. So that wasn't the best, but I at least get to still hold up Flusterstorm. But this kind of smells like a sneak attack. Oh, and they have the mana to just put it in right away. Not looking good. Looking real bad. What you got for me? Griselbrand. Okay. Yeah. Well, that's unfortunate, but it happens. I think if I had drawn another land, I would have been in a lot better shape. I just didn't. I don't know. Maybe I should have used the discard earlier. I just feel like what happened in game one. If I had Thoughtseize on turn one, and they just had Force of Will and then what's it called? Force of Will and then an Ancient Tomb and could have cast Show and Tell, then I would have just lost the game. Whereas holding up Flusterstorm, I could still stop the Show and Tell. As it gets later in the game, Show and Tell, Flusterstorm becomes less reliable because of what just happened. You can't Flusterstorm a sneak attack, and so. But I also felt like I couldn't afford to not hold up Flusterstorm, so I don't know. I just got not getting enough lands. I wasn't able to develop my game plan. All right, so this hand is okay. A little weak to Wasteland. Although this doesn't look like a Wasteland deck. Basic Island typically isn't a Wasteland deck. I wonder if this is... I don't know. So they didn't shuffle. I think I'm just going to start on a Thoughtseize and see what's going on. Okay, Stoneblade. I'm going to take the Brainstorm. So this is probably going to be the Stoneforge Mystic. Oh no, it's that guy again. Who's that guy? Me? You talking about me, El Dorte? Alright, so they got the Jute. That's not a problem. Another Doomsday. Gross. I have a couple options here. They didn't have any blue cards in hand last time I checked. So even if they drew a Force of Will this turn, this Doomsday should resolve. So I could cast Doomsday and make a pass turn pile. And then as long as I fade another counterspell, I'll just win the game. But on the other hand, I'm not under a lot of pressure right now, so it might be worth it to just try and find more stuff. This is a little aggressive, but I'm going to Ponder again. Darkrit and another Ponder. Those are good cards, because this is going to let me have the cantrip for the pass a turn pile, and then also True Name Nemesis. That's not really an issue, and they didn't put in the Jute, which is fine. I don't really care about this. Okay, so this should be totally fine to do. Darkrit. I'm going to cast the Brutality, and I can escalate with a couple modes if I want. I don't think it's worth much to do the Drain mode. I'll just do 2 modes. So I want to do the Duress mode, and I'll do the -2/-2 mode. Opponent, creature, pay 1, discard a card. So they just don't have a lot going on. So now as long as I can dodge another counterspell, I'll win the game. I'm pretty quiet. Let me see if there's anything I can do about that. How about now? Is that any better? I think that's probably the loudest I can go. I can just try and speak up. Just speaking up might help. So I need Lion's Eye Diamond, I need Act and Impulse, and then Lion's Eye Diamond, Jace. And that should be good enough, as long as they don't draw any counterspell. Here we go. Fingers crossed. Oof. That's the worst draw. I'm assuming they're going to take the Ponder. I didn't see that coming. I guess I saw the Underground Sea, but the Inquisition is a really bad draw. I can't actually beat that if they take the Ponder. So that's really unfortunate. Well, I guess that's what I was, you know, potentially getting myself into with the pass turn pile. Um, so it's worth noting that I had pass the turn pile options that could play around discard. If I had made my pile be, say, Lotus Petal, Act on Impulse, LED, Jace, and then I'd pondered into the Lotus Petal last turn, and then just drawn the Act on Impulse. But my issue with that pile is that it doesn't beat a Wasteland on my Underground Sea, and I was more concerned about. I had Wasteland on my radar than I had Discard on my radar, so wasn't really thinking about the potential of Discard. Let's see. So for sideboard cards, um, I think I'm gonna bring in the Tendrils and take out Jace, because they probably are playing Narset, and then Pyroblast is good. The Fatal Pushes or the Abrades are okay. I'm probably gonna bring in the Abrades. Abrade will kill Batterskull, Stoneforge, Ethersworn Canonist if they're playing something like that. And then I need to cut a couple cards. So I can cut the Cabal Rituals. They're not that important in this matchup. And then I can cut a Preordain. And I think that'll be good enough. So play a little more carefully this time. Now that I know a little bit more about what's going on. Well, this hand is pretty decent. So I'm going to keep this. This is the kind of hand that can make a Frenzy pretty quick. There's a couple ways I could play this. I'm not sure which is better. I could lead off with Thoughtseize, or I could lead off with Ponder. I think I'm going to lead off with Thoughtseize. That way, if they have a Wasteland and they choose to use it on turn 1, they'll take the Badlands instead of the Underground Sea that I'll have to get with Bloodstained Mire. So you can go Badlands, Thoughtseize for turn 1. And then, depending on what they have, I can end step the Lim-Dûl's Vault on their, or after turn 2, and then try and make Frenzy for turn 3. So not a lot going on. They have the Force, they have a Notion Thief, but really nothing else. It's interesting that they left in the Swords to Plowshares, because they could have seen that I didn't have any green mana. So they played their Island. Interesting. Okay. So I'm just going to end step the Lim-Dûl's Vault here. Because assuming that... Let's see, is this just the Stoneforge? Yep. Alright, so I feel pretty good in this game. Obviously, there's draws they could have if they drew another Force of Will, or even if they drew a Surgical Extraction or something like that. Could be troublesome, but in general, this game feels like it's going in my favor. Tendrils of Agony, that's not going to be good enough. I will pay life. I don't think the order of these cards matters all that much. Looking for the Frenzy. So that Frenzy is a good hit, but the group of cards that's with it is pretty bad, and I have a lot of life to work with, so I think I'm actually going to keep going here. And we'll split these Frenzies up. There's a Doomsday. That does not doing me a whole lot of good here. I will pay life. Hold on a second. What if I draw the Brainstorm here? And I draw Brainstorm into... Nope, I don't have enough mana for that. Okay, let's just keep going. not exactly hurting for life right now. So okay, that's a pretty reasonable set of cards. What did they get with they got the Batterskull. So let me think here. So the best line of play here is likely going to be Frenzy on top, so draw the Frenzy, and then Preordain, draw the Frenzy, then LED. Killing the Stoneforge is pretty tempting, and then I can Preordain past the Pyroblast. Okay, so let's do this. I will not pay life. We'll go Pyroblast on the bottom, then Preordain, Collective Brutality, LED, Frenzy. Now I just hope they didn't draw the Surgical Extraction. It'd be very annoying. Oh. Please resolve. Please resolve. I'd really like it if this resolved. There probably is an argument for pondering into the Pyroblast instead to be able to hold up some counter magic. Like, oh, God damn it. That's so frustrating. Okay, so I may be screwed up here. Because I was really banking on them having not top decked the Force of Will. In their one draw step. But if I had set the pile up so I could ponder into the Pyroblast, I would have been able to protect the Frenzy. I just wouldn't have been able to keep casting spells afterwards. But I still would have been able to protect the Frenzy and then Collective Brutality the Stoneforge Mystic. So, that was really, really bad. I'm probably just going to shuffle this. Because, yeah, okay. So, that was a good draw. I just need them to not, top deck another counterspell. So presumably now they just hold that up the Stoneforge so that they can flash in the Batterskull, which is fine. That's a good draw. So I'll be on a little bit of a tight clock, but I can probably race the skull. Although I'll only get like one turn. But so I definitely punted. I think I didn't have a good reason to not ponder for that Pyroblast. It was just a mistake. They didn't have a fourth land, which is really good because I can put back this Doomsday, and they can't Notion Thief the Brainstorm. Even if this doesn't resolve, I'll still have... Okay. So, I'm going to include a lot of discard in my hand here, in my pile. I do need a pretty high storm count, so let me think about this. Actually, I have Collective Brutality that I can kill them with. It'll just be a lot of clicks. I actually can replace this LED with a Duress, because it's 5 mana to do the Collective Brutality plus Doomsday, and this will make 6 mana. So I can Duress first, right? I'm thinking about that, right? Yeah, okay. So, Doomsday on the bottom, then Collective Brutality, and then we'll go Duress LED LED. Okay. I mean, this is going to die to a surgical, but I think I'm okay with that. So double swords isn't going to do anything here. Oh, they exile the Notion Thief to force a will. I forgot about that. So 2 life. I gain 2 life. What's the hold up? Alright, folks, we're going to be here for a while. So I don't need the Duress anymore. They're going to make me do the whole thing. I guess I don't blame them, but I don't know if it purposely puts them in a nice, easily clickable order. But yeah, they probably just want me to waste fucking time, which I guess I get. It's a lot of time to waste. It looks like they're F6, so I probably should try and duress that swords out of the way so they don't have to make me click even more. If they swords the Batterskull, I'd have to click even more, which would be annoying. It's alright. What my opponent doesn't realize is that I get off on this shit. Alright, they had enough. That's good. Let's see. I don't think I'm going to change my sideboard at all. Playing get some paper this weekend at Game for Gain. So sick. Hopefully you'll do well. Still finalizing your list. Upping your dress. Oh, I see. Upping your dress. Dress for. Well, assuming the meta is going to be as Chalice heavy as it was last time, I think you should play the Cabal rituals, because having a ritual that you can push through a Chalice on one to help you play an Experimental Frenzy through a Chalice can be pretty good. I don't think I would up Duress to 4. Personally, I don't really like. I know Ape was playing a list without any Cabal rituals or other extra mana acceleration, but I know, like, I side the Cabal Writs out in a fair number of matchups, but there is a lot of matchups where I'm very happy to have them. And if you think there's going to be any Delver at all, having those extra rituals makes your empties much, much better. Alright, we'll just submit this. Yeah, I mean, I'm partial to my own list, but I like it. I'm partial to it for a reason, I guess. It's been doing fairly well for me. I guess I keep this list. I mean, this hand. It's again another one lander. Like I really want more lands than that, but so start off with Ponder. This hand is pretty good. It's just a matter of like I really need that second land. And I don't really want to run myself into wastelands if I can avoid it. But it doesn't look to be avoidable. So I'm probably just gonna I'll have to brainstorm end step here, I think. I don't want to expose myself to wasteland. If I can avoid that. They're thinking about whether or not they're gonna tab out. Oh, they're just brainstorming here. Okay. I guess I'm gonna let this happen. By let it happen, I mean let it happen without me brainstorming in response. But I might brainstorm in response if they crack this fetch, just so they can't spell pierce or flusterstorm this brainstorm. I'd really love another mana source here. Great. That's actually really good. So I think I want to put back a Braid and the land. Well, maybe a Braid in the Brainstorm. Just so if they have Surgical, they can't take my land away from me. But this hand, or that, oh fuck. I was too hasty. Too hasty. They had the Thoughtseize. That was I forgot they're fucking playing black. Obviously, they're going to take the Frenzy here. I at least have some discard and a Brainstorm hidden on top. So it's not like I'm totally out of gas. It's just not ideal to lose the Frenzy here. If they take anything besides the Frenzy, I'll be astounded. Yeah. I think the Frenzy is objectively the correct take there. They might have been hiding something like something in their hand that was making them think about whether or not they wanted to take the Thoughtseize. But I wonder if I should have led on Duress. I still have an Abrade on top, so even if they have something like a Canonist. This is really interesting, though. They let me have the Surgical. I'm totally fine with taking the Surgical. And I'm also not too upset about getting Wastelanded here. Because I have that other land. And I even have this Brainstorm. They're pretty out of gas. So it would be bad for me. I think I'm just going to pass the turn. I have the Abrade. Well, I don't know. I think actually, I don't think I want to pass the turn. I think I might just play myself into Wasteland if they find another one. With a 3-color Stoneforge deck, a lot of times they're not playing the full 4 Wastelands. Interesting. I think I have to take the Skull, though. Where did they find that Force? They must have top decked it. No more waste. No, not another Wasteland is good. The fact that they have a Force of Will isn't so hot, but I'm just gotta keep track of what's in their hand here. They played a Flooded Strand, so they have one mystery card. Ugh, I really, really, really need another land. I think I'm just gonna Brainstorm. It sucks. Because if I get Brainstorm locked, I'll be in a real real bad spot. But this is not what I want to be doing. So next turn I could cast 2 Doomsdays. Snapcaster Mage. Okay. Yeah, this isn't where I want to be. That Brainstorm maybe was a little, I don't know, a little aggressive. Or maybe I shouldn't have duressed. Maybe I should have brainstormed off the Lotus Petal and then cracked the fetch. But let's see, what's my life gonna be at? So if I if I Doomsday now, it'll go down to 6. So I can take just 1 hit. So I can't pass more than 1 turn. I think, I just don't even know. I feel like I have to Doomsday here. What we got? Vendilion Clique. Okay. That's annoying. A little annoying. If they have another blue spell to go with the Force of Will that I know is in their hand, that'll be annoying. Because they could take 1 Doomsday and then counter the other. And then I'll be out of gas. This has been a pretty frustrating match. Misplays and weak draws. Getting Brainstorm locked. So now, here's the problem though. I can't pass the turn. I can't make a pass the turn pile unless I can. I guess I can if I can abrade something. This is a very interesting spot. So if they take my Dark Writ, I can't cast one of the Doomsdays in my hand because I can't make a pass a turn pile unless I rip a cantrip and they don't have a force to go. Interesting. So they took one of the Doomsdays. Okay. So I feel like this is my only out right now. Is for them to not have another blue card. But if they have another land, then they'll have, you know, Hardcast Force up. So they just force that. Force pitching Spell Pierce. Okay. So how am I going to win this game? I need to draw another land next turn. Or another mana source. Well, really ought to be another land. And I can try and Lim-Dûl's Vault into like cantrip plus Frenzy. But I won't have a lot of... I guess I have to cantrip here. This puts me at 6. I think I need to draw this Abrade and Abrade the Snapcaster Mage. This doesn't really feel like a winning sort of proposition. Okay. Bought me some time. I might be hiding a Notion Thief up there, though. That would suck. Have I used both my Abrades? Yeah. So I don't have a way... Well, I guess Collective Brutality could kill the Stoneforge here. Alright. I'm just going to pass the turn and Limdul's Vault end step and hope I get really lucky and it resolves. But I think that's going to be a pretty long shot here. And I won't even have a lot of life to work with, even if it does resolve. I really only have like 1 life to work with. I'll get to see 10 cards if it resolves. I wonder if they have like a Spell Pierce or something and they're thinking about if they should counter. Or like a Fluster, because that something I could pay for with the Lion's Eye Diamond. But if I have to crack the Lion's Eye Diamond to pay for something, I'm not going to win that. Because I just don't have enough life to work with. Okay, so they decide to Fluster that. So I'm just going to let that happen. Because at this point, I think I have a better chance to win by like preordaining into a Frenzy or something. There's a Brainstorm. Okay, so I'm gonna preordain here. Oh, Notion Thief. Okay. Wow. That sucked. I definitely could have won the oh no, I did win the one where I should have kept the Pyroblast, but I still should have kept the Pyroblast. And I probably could have played a little better in game 1, unfortunately. That's a frustrating match. In a lot of ways. Definitely could have served to be a little luckier with my Brainstorms too. Not getting locked there. I think if I had found another fetch land when I got Brainstorm locked, I think that game would have been much more in my favor just because just because of how it was, I guess. So this hand is pretty good. This should be able to translate relatively easily into a win if they don't have like a metric shitload of disruption. Double Days, Oko, Wasteland. Let's think here. I think I'm supposed to take the Thoughtseize and try and play through Double Days. I can play around the Wasteland relatively easily. Okay, I drew a Frenzy. That's pretty good. Excuse me. I've been seeing more of this Bug Delver deck lately, and I'm kind of surprised. Oh, that's such a bad draw. Like I haven't seen hardly any Bug Delver anywhere before that. So there's a wasteland. This is probably Oko. So they might turn my LED into an elk, which I think I'm okay with. I'm going to snap off this Limdul's Vault here. I'm almost certain it's going to get dazed. I probably made a mistake right here. When they cracked the fetch, like you could play Oko in a Rug Delver. Like you could make like a Rug Delver. So I don't know why Bug in particular is making the Oko, or why Oko is making Bug in particular come back. But just excuse me, what I was going to say here was I should have Limdul's Vaulted in response to this Polluted Delta, because then if they wanted to daze it, they would have had to. Well, I guess they would have just floated mana, right? And they still would have been able to play the Oko. Alright, that's fine. I'm just going to shoot off this Limdul's Vault right now. I'm sure it's going to get dazed, but like, I don't know. Oko doesn't do a whole lot to me, except that it can make elks, and so it can be like a slow clock. Okay, so they're deciding to daze. I wonder if I'm supposed to pay for it. I don't think so, because that that Lotus Petal is my only red mana source right now. Hopefully they don't choose to elk that. So they're elking the Lion's Eye Diamond, which I think I'm okay with. There's another Lion's Eye Diamond. I wonder if I'm supposed to play that out and hope they elk that as well. If I attack this, it goes down to 3. And then if they elk the other Lion's Eye Diamond, I could kill it and have 6 power on the board. So they're probably not going to elk this other Lion's Eye Diamond. I just don't think they can afford to. I know attacking Oko is a little weird here, but like they can't +1. That's not going to be enough to save their Oko. And they can't +2. I mean, if they +2, their Oko would live. But if they +1 this other LED, then the Oko is going to die for sure. So I feel like they don't do that. Is this a Goyf? Did they find the Goyf? Ugh, they found the Goyf. Okay. And they make a food token. Okay, well, at least now I still have... So they have 1 daze and some mystery cards, but I have an LED. Land. Come on. Find me a Dark Rid or something. Another LED. I think my only hope to win this game at this point is going to be to resolve this frenzy. And I want the mana to be able to do it through multiple spells. Through multiple soft counters, I mean. So they're probably going to turn their... Oh, they're just making another food. That's interesting. I figured they would turn their food into a Goyf. I mean, turn their food into an elk. I think I just block here. Like, there's no point in taking that damage. I don't think. Alright, if they have a Force of Will, I'm probably boned, but I don't know what they did off their ponder. No shuffle. Naturally, they have the Force of Will. Wait, they're dazing because they want me to crack an LED. I think I'm just supposed to crack an LED though, right? Let's just fucking do it. Like, I know they still have the Force of Will. Force pitching Pierce. Well, I could have played through Daze and Pierce, but not Daze, Pierce, and Force. So the problem is, like, they can Wasteland me, which makes the only better draw basically a cantrip into another Frenzy. But if they elk my LED, then even that's off the table. But they decided to make their own elk, so they have more of a clock, which makes sense. They don't want me to be able to block their Goyf. And they destroy that, of course. Ponder. Alright, that sucked. So much counter magic that they drew, too. Like, it wasn't like they... Alright, so let's bring in the Pyroblast. Pyroblast is fine. I'm not convinced that Empty is super great in this matchup just because of Oko, but it's probably good enough. I'm still going to bring it in. We'll cut the Limb Duel's faults. They suck. The Frenzies are better against Bug, so I don't want to get rid of those. I do want Tendrils in the deck. We'll cut the Jace. I'm not going to get rid of all of the Frenzies. I think I'll just cut one Frenzy. We'll try that. I'm not bringing in the Fatal Pushes here. Which could be wrong, but yeah, it's just an awkward an awkward game. I don't know. Didn't go down the way I wanted it to. This hand's good. Pretty good. I want to keep it. If they have a discard heavy hand, it's not as good. But didn't move the Collective Battalion. Okay. I'm just going to start with Polluted Delta Pass. So it looks like they might be starting off with some discard. I think I'm supposed to brainstorm here. What the fuck did I... Okay, I thought I clicked the wrong card. The wrong land. There's a Doomsday. This is not really... Maybe I'm supposed to leave the Tendrils in? Ugh, I don't even know. I think no matter what, they're going to get a good card from me. Would they take my Thoughtseize? Okay, so they have a shitload of counter magic. Good to know. Another Ritual would be a really great draw here. On my next draw. Brainstorm, whatever, dog. I'm not sure about Empty against this deck. Bug is much better at dealing with a horde of Goblin tokens than other combinations of rug colors. gonna say that's no good to me. Here's a Goif. Making my empty a lot worse. Especially a small empty. Hex Drinker. Alright, so empty is getting substantially worse now. Alright, thanks. Thanks for watching. It's unfortunate that these have not gone very well at all. I don't mind the Flusterstorm getting out of my hand if I'm ever thinking about trying to cast one of these storm spells. A Wasteland would be pretty bad for me here. I'm going to lose this game. Just don't really see a world in which I win. Like, I can make like 4 goblins to block here. I'm sure they have counter magic. I just, like, I don't know. I can't keep sitting on my ass because I'm drawing all these stupid win cons. A Spell Pierce. I'll pay. But, you know, if they still have a Flusterstorm hiding out somewhere, it's like still not enough mana. Yep, here it comes. Hydroblast. Okay, that's not as bad. So I still get 8 goblins. This is an interesting situation because we're both on like a 2-turn clock. I don't really know what to make of this. They're leveling up the Hex Drinker. They can get it to pro everything. It's got to be at 8 to be pro everything. Now it's what, a 4/4? I wonder if they just attack with both. They're not attacking. They I have to attack, right? And attack with everything. Actually, maybe all but one. Then I can have a blocker back for the Goyf. I don't know how I think the way I win this might involve drawing like a Darkrit or a Lotus Petal so that I can cast Tendrils. Mini Tendrils. So once it's pro everything, like I need to have 6 life left basically so that I can survive one hit from the Hex Drinker. Okay. Jesus Christ. They cracked a fetch. What you gonna play now? I don't I don't see myself winning this game. I think it's highly unlikely. There's a couple ways that it could happen. One of them is if they attack with everything here. If they attack with everything here, I can hit them for 3, put them to 4, and then a Lotus Petal or a Darkrit would get there. They still need to level up the Hex Drinker, though. Okay, there's the level on the Hex Drinker. So now it's at 8. Now it's pro everything. So they're coming in for 9. Just coming in for 6. Looks like it's just the 6. Okay. So I'm just trying to think about what's going to kill him here. think I need to crack this because brainstorming into another cantrip could also kill them, but not being able to fetch. Actually, can I get a blue? Do I have a blue source I can get with this? Okay, I do. Thoughtseize. That's not good enough. Okay. Well, that's really unfortunate. Okay, let's just hope I can win these next two so I can at least get 50 play points back. I have enough play points where that would get me to another league, which would be nice. But man, I felt like just none of these. Did I even click? What's going on here? Oh, play league match. How did I open up my deck? I don't know, but this has been pretty frustrating. I've kind of just felt like I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I didn't sideboard well enough in that match. Like maybe I should have brought in the Flusterstorms or the Fatal Pushes. Fatal Push would have been pretty good in that matchup. It would have been a good draw. Before the Hex Drinker got all the way leveled, I guess. But and then that first game, not being able to resolve that frenzy was sucky. I don't know. Sometimes things just don't break your way. I don't want to. I want to try and acknowledge if I could have played better. Obviously, I could have chosen my deck better, but we're long past the point of choosing a different deck. So, um, I want to try and think about where I could have potentially could have played better, and not just say, "Oh yeah, bad luck. What can you do?" But it definitely felt like some bad luck sometimes. Like in the match against Stoneblade, with my Stoneblade opponent just peeling a Force Will off the top on turn 2. Um, like that kind of thing is definitely feels like bad luck. I mean, we can calculate the percentage of that happening. You know, if you're really masochistic and you want to know exactly how unlucky you are, they had what at that point is 52 cards left in their deck. There's 3 Force Wills left because I hit them with a discard. Sample size is 1. I mean, I guess it's 1 out of 52, right? We don't need to do the full-blown hypergeometric distribution for this. 0.5, so 5% chance of that happening. Like, odds were certainly in my favor there that they wouldn't draw another Force of Will, but you know how it is. Thoughtseize is just Vampiric Tutor for your opponent. And naturally, it's taking way too long to find the... There we go. Seaman James. I don't think this hand is playable. I needed blue mana. And this hand is not too hot either. I guess I'm going to have to keep this. I don't want to go to 5, really. I'll put the Act on Impulse on the bottom. I say this hand is not great. But they're mulling to 5, so that makes me feel a little better. Four. Well, my hand's not feeling quite as bad anymore, but I definitely am wondering what kind of deck wants to mull to 4. Could be like Reanimator or something. Okay, let's see what mulls to 4. Maybe a little Dragon Stompy action. This hand is not equipped to be Dragon Stompy. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. Easy win. So, let's think. I think against a deck that mults to 4 and doesn't do anything, I want to bring in the Echoing Truths and I want to cut the Duresses. Well, maybe I'll cut Preordains. Let's do two Echoing Truth, out 2 Preordain. I honestly, I have no idea what my opponent is doing. So that sideboarding strategy dilutes my deck the minimum amount possible um without like reducing my amount or types of interaction. And this hand makes Frenzy on turn 2, so I'm going to keep it. It also has an Echoing Truth if I need to bounce something, and it's got this useless Jason here, but this would be a perfectly keepable 6, so I'm not going to go to 6 and hope to get something better. Chrome Mox, looking like it's a Dragon Stompy, which I think I can live with as long as they don't crap out a Blood Moon immediately. They were already pretty low on cards. They mulled a 5 this time. There's the Trinisphere. Well, that's a good opener for sure. But I have my 3 lands now, so that's good. I can definitely side a little better for this, but I'm glad that I have what I have. And now I have what I need for all of my basics too, so if they find a Blood Moon, I can play through a Blood Moon. This Chandra. Karn. Oh, are you fucking kidding me, dude? That's super annoying. Karn is super annoying. But they just didn't plus it? Okay, well, we're just going to hope for the best. I'll bounce the 3-ball and hope I can go off without artifacts. I wonder what they get here. If they have a Chalice in the board, that'd be really annoying. But I'm pretty sure all their Chalices are going to be main deck. Since I let off with Duress, they must know I'm on Storm. I wonder if they just grab like a Tormod script or something so that they can actually play it through the Trinisphere. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Okay. I don't think I'm super concerned about that. I'm just going to crack my fetches so that I like, even if they Spyglass on Jace, it's not really the end of the world. The real issue here is that my artifacts don't do anything, which makes life kind of difficult. So you're probably going to name Jace. It makes the most sense to name Jace. Alright, so yeah. Oh, they named Experimental Frenzy. Well, that doesn't matter. That's kind of nice, actually. Because I don't have to fuck around if I do manage to make a Doomsday pile. I'm going to play the Lotus Petal. There's really no reason not to. But I'm not going to play either of these Ponders because there's no reason to. I'd rather have the mana up to be able to cast something after I play this Frenzy. Cast something like a discard spell. A discard spell would be excellent. have a land drop that I can make. Brainstorm is a reasonable card here. Neither of those are very reasonable. So I'm going to put back Ponder and then LED. I can play the LED, even though it doesn't do anything, and then just fire off this Ponder here. There's a Darkrit. It's a bunch of cards. None of those cards really do anything because I can't. The Lion's Eye Diamonds don't do anything. So I have to shuffle here. Play the Lion's Eye Diamond, that doesn't do anything. There's a Thoughtseize. So Thoughtseize is really good here because I can snag this Trinisphere. What did you find, Chandra? I don't mind Chandra. So I'm now in a position where winning the game is not impossible. So they're turning the Spyglass into a monster. If I can find my other Echoing Truth or something. That Thoughtseize was a super good hit, though. I'm really glad that I hit that Thoughtseize. Doomsday is a fine hit here. Duress, I guess, is okay. I can get casted at least. Collective Brutality. Well, I can kill the Spyglass. I can escalate. I don't want to pitch the Jace in case they grab a Tormod's Crypt with the Karn, because then I would lose all my win cons. But I can escalate 2 modes, so we'll go target creature and drain life. Cast choose target creature, choose target opponent, pay the mana, discard a card. A fucking frenzy on top. Okay. I just pass. Legion Warboss, that's scary because it makes the clock much faster. Get 2 more turns maybe at this rate. What does this thing's ultimate do? So you get an emblem whenever you cast a spell, so they have a little while to go before then. Okay. I really want a good hit. Doomsday here would be perfect. They got a Lion's Eye Diamond. They can't cast that Trinisphere, which is really good for me. They should have played their Lion's Eye Diamond before they Chandra, because they would have been able to cast the... Well, no, they would have had to use the Lion's Eye, crack the LED beforehand. So they're going to get... They want to go and get the Mycosynth Lattice next turn, so I really... This is going to be the turn to win. The bauble doesn't do anything, it's just a spell to cast. Brainstorm is okay. There's the Doomsday. This is it. That's game. Because I can Collective Brutality loop with Dark Rituals, since I have a little bit of extra mana to start off with. So go Dark Grit, Dark Grit, Dark Grit, Collective Brutality, Doomsday. And that's it. Stole a game from Dragon Stompy. Wait, didn't they have a card in hand? What happened to that Lion's Eye Diamond that I thought they had? Oh, they killed one of my Lion's Eye Diamonds. I thought they got a Lion's Eye Diamond from their graveyard, or from their sideboard. I just misread. what happened there. I thought they were grabbing it so they could Mike Synth Lattice me next turn and lock me out. It always seems to order the cards in like the most convenient, just click, 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 click order. I don't know if it knows somehow, or if that's just the way it seems to happen. But I'm okay with it either way. All right. Let's try and get that. Oops, I just opened Audacity by mistake. We'll try and get this that sweet 50 play points if we can. Been pretty consistently 2-3 or 3-2 with this list, which doesn't feel great. Part of me wonders if I should try and fit that fourth Preordain in. Let's take a look at the deck. I figured out how I did it with the view deck button. Nope, found an opponent. Well, I have 30 seconds. So I'm like, if I take the Pyroblast out and move the Conjurous Bauble to the board, I could play the fourth Preordain in the main deck, or I could cut a Cabal Ritual and play the fourth Preordain. But I don't know. Or I could just cut the Tendrils package and play the fourth Preordain, and then I get an extra sideboard slot too. And there aren't a ton of matchups where like I really need the Tendrils package. So I don't know. I can keep this hand though. This hand can win on turn 3, undisrupted. Turn 2, Lim-Dûl's Vault for Dark Grit and make a double cantrip pile is how it wins on turn 3. If it's not, that wasn't clear. So I'll be keeping this. Probably I won't be undisrupted, but actually I might be, depending on what they play. Glacial Chasm. If this is just plain old lands and not like 4-color loam, gamble. Discard the Tabernacle. Play a Wasteland. Okay, so Wasteland's a little annoying, but it certainly doesn't stop me from... Actually, that basic swamp is a... No, Wasteland doesn't stop me from killing on turn 3, for sure. There's a forest. Mana Bond. Great. As long as I don't have a port in hand, I'll be pretty happy. What's this? Library? Loam. Okay. None of those cards do anything. So, you get a bunch of lands, but... Port would delay me by a turn. There's Dark Depths, but... Okay. I'm pretty confident I'm going to win this game on turn 3. But the post-board games will be more difficult. Oh, so they got back a port, which is annoying. Just in so far as it'll slow me down by a turn. But it's not going to be a death sentence. It just means I get slowed down by a turn. So they play the port, and that's fine. I'm just going to... Say Mana Bond triggers again. I'm going to crack this for the basic island now. And I'm going to Lim-Dûl's Vault now because, well, I mean, if I can Lim-Dûl's Vault into something really insane, I might just, like, let me think. Dark Grit, LED, Petal would just kill, right? Like, there it is. So let's think. So I'm going to brainstorm into Dark Red LED Petal, put back extra lands. Yeah, that's just it. That's it, man. I just win the game. Fuck your port. I'm assuming they're going to port Island in my upkeep, and I can just brainstorm here. No, they're porting the swamp. Okay. I still have to brainstorm, but I can put back land, land, and play my land for the turn. Dark Ritual into Doomsday. And kill him. The last card doesn't matter a whole lot, I don't think. Done. So Brutality on the bottom, then Jace LED, act on Impulse. And then I can play that. Play that. Ponder into my pile. There. So that's game one. Easy game one. It's pretty dark in here, huh? Some light. Yikes. Now y'all can see my pretty face. Okay, so we want Echoing Truth and we want Abrades. But that's all we got. And on the draw, well, Collective Brutality comes out because it does almost nothing in the matchup. And I think I want to cut the Limb Duelist Vaults because, well, actually, no. I want to cut a Frenzy first. Duress isn't hot. I can cut the Conjurer's Bauble. Duress isn't too hot on the draw. Limb Duelist Vault isn't as... Limb Duelist Vault in this matchup is better if you have Hurkyl's Recall as a way to bounce all of their things. So if you can get up enough mana to Limb Duelist Vault, but it can be hard to get up enough mana to Limb Duelist Vault. So I think I'd rather have my discard in case I get, to give myself the best chance to turn one discard. You definitely want all of your discard when you're on the play. There's not a lot of matchups where I sideboard differently on the play versus on the draw, but this is one of them. although I probably won't this time, but I would consider, you can consider removing like both Lim-Dûl's vaults, or I mean, a duress instead of the Lim-Dûl's vault, or even a duress instead of the experimental frenzy. Um, but I don't know. I think I value duress a little bit more than I used to in this matchup. Huh? That canned is not really where I want to be. They mulliganed as well. Well, I guess I'm going to keep this. It's not great, but I don't think going down anymore is going to be better. It'll suck if I don't. Or if they have a turn 1 sphere and I can't do anything, but I don't think going to 5 is going to be better. And I'll put one away, one of the Cabal Writs. They tanked for a while on that 6, so it makes me wonder if maybe they don't have the turn 1 sphere. Oh, maybe they do. Crop Rot for Ancient Tomb, probably. Play your turn 1 sphere. Yep, that sucks. So I will likely be playing out some of my artifacts here. So now I could play a 1 mana spell through the Lotus, through the Sphere. But really I want to find my basic island. That would be the best. But, this is how they get you. This is how they win. In my experience, when you do win the lands matchup, or let me rephrase that. The lands matchup is very weird in that game 1, you're like 80 plus probably percent to win the game. Like the only way they really beat you is if they start off with like ports, multiple ports usually, and also have a fast Merit Lage. So you're like very, very favored to win game 1, and then you're probably, I would say, 40% or even less to win the post board games, in my experience. And so it's it can be an odd matchup in that regard. But when you do win, you win game 1, you lose game 2, and then you win game 3, and like that's the most common way to win the lands matchup. Give me a land. That's not a land. So now we're just kind of waiting on them to either kill us or for us to be able to play out of it. Need another land before I have any shot at playing out of this. There may come a point where it's correct to brainstorm off the Lotus Petal just out of pure desperation. But more likely than not, they're just going to find a Dark Depths and kill me before I even find another land, probably. Okay. Well, I can safely discard this Duress because it doesn't do anything anymore. Turning it into another port. Yeah. It's probably correct to just concede this game. Like, I think it's probably out of my grasp at this point. I would guess that it's very likely that they draw Dark Depths before I draw like 3 more lands and an Echoing Truth, right? That's what it would take to get me out of it at this point. More than that. Yeah, three more lands and an Echoing Truth, and they don't have any more ways to, like, any more ports. So I would say I'm somewhere in the vicinity of 0% to win this game. But my clock is not in any danger, so it's probably fine to just sit on it for a while. Is a mana bond. They're going very slowly. Alright. There's no lands in their hand? Wow. Sure. There's land. That's good. Or no lands in their hand that they wanted to put into the battlefield anyway. I suppose is an interesting distinction. So I have no more basics that this Mire can get, but it's probably going to be correct to brainstorm when they port me if I want to have any shot at winning this game. They're putting themselves down really low with this Ancient Tomb. Oh, this might be the Mana Bond turn. They just got back those lands. I wonder if I should have just banked on them not having a Wasteland and cracked this to get C so that I could cast my Petal last turn. It feels like I was a high surgical. My Duress, sure, dog, whatever. That does literal nothing. Although it's good to know that they have surgical. Their life total is very low. It's making me wish I'd brought in Tendrils. I'm almost at the point where I could Tendrils them out if I drew it. Not quite there yet, but not as far off as it looks. Excuse me. So they're still not mana bonding. Alright, I think I'm going to brainstorm here. Could get me in trouble, but it's probably not going to put me in any worse position than I'm already in, if we're being honest. As a sphere with double port is a very, very bad position to be in. Grab Underground Sea and brainstorm. Well, no more land. It feels like it sometimes, for sure. I'll draw the other brainstorm. I'll be able to do that same thing again next turn and see a couple new cards. If they don't wasteland me. I mean, I guess I can still do it even if they do wasteland me, but this Preordained feels like the weakest card in my hand, so I'm going to get rid of it. The reason I'm holding on to all the mana is because if I ever do break out of this lock, I'm going to want all of that mana to be able to do something with. we got now? Exploration, okay. I feel like that's not doing anything that Mana Bond wasn't doing, but... Gamble, sure. So this is going to be the gamble for Dark Depths, and I'm going to die. And I don't think at this point that there's any way for me to win. I'm not sure what it would have to be. I guess drawing... Yeah, I don't even know. I don't know what would do it here. Are they targeting? Just brainstorm again. If I don't find any more land, or like an Echoing Truth or something, I'm definitely not winning. But even Echoing Truth isn't going to be good enough because they have Loam. Why did they target my swamp when I had already tapped it? That's really weird. Well, I found another land and the Echoing Truth. So, like, that's sort of good, I guess. But the problem is that I still don't have the mana to do anything. Like, how do I win the game from here? Well, it starts by passing the turn, because it's definitely not happening this turn. And then I probably... It's going to involve an upkeep Echoing Truth. Still no Wasteland, so I guess that's good. Upkeep Echoing Truth, play all my writs out, ponder into Experimental Frenzy, and try to go off. That's, that's how this works. That's the way I might possibly win this game. But it's a hell of a long shot. For sure. They have one card in hand, and I don't know what it is. Oh, it's the Dark Depths, right? They haven't... Wait, the Dark Depths is in their graveyard? Did they not get Dark Depths? No, they got a Dark Depths back. What's going on here? They just have a second Depths in their graveyard? They can just mana bond it in, though, on the end step. So this time I'm assuming they're going to activate that. Okay. They have plenty of mana to make a 20/20 and double port me. So they'll activate going to 1. It gets a yikes for me, dog. It makes me wish I left my fucking so I wish I left the Collective Brutality or the Tendrils or something in. But anyway, I'm just gonna fucking float the mana, and I'm not gonna what do I do here? Yeah, I guess I just Echoing Truth. Oh, I need to use all my lands, my mana anyway, all my land mana anyway to cast it. Bounce the sphere. Let's go. Draw the Jace, I think, right? Okay. Let's see what happens. I still have what? Three frenzies in my deck? This Ponder, or this LED has to make red. I suppose Act on Impulse isn't an awful hit here. Well, shuffle that. That ain't it. Alright. On to game 3. Part of me wants to bring the Tendrils in. But I don't think it's good enough. I think I'm just gonna submit. Oh my god. Alright, let me think. How does this... Can this hand win on turn 2? And does that make it a good enough hand to keep? So if I ponder into another land, and then I'll have another land, and then on the next turn I'll draw another card. So I can ponder into... If I ponder into another land, and they don't wasteland me or port that land or play a sphere on turn 1, this hand can win on turn 2. So the question is that good enough? Fuck it. It's for 50 fucking play points. Let's just yeet. Let's just hit that yeet. And they began the game with 7 cards in hand, so that is a bad sign for me. Gotta shuffle that. No second land. Here it is. This is how I die. This is how I die, folks. Yikes. I hope this is a choke. That'll really teach me. Or Trinisphere or something. Sorcerer's Spyglass. Okay. I suppose Jace is a reasonable card to name off Sorcerer's Spyglass. I'm really surprised they pitched the Wasteland, though, to play the Sorcerer's Spyglass. Like, why not pitch, unless they don't have any other lands? I'm pretty sure they have to name Jace here. Like, they'd be very foolhardy to name anything else. Suppose if they have, like, Exploration plus another Wasteland, it would still put me in a bad spot, but this doesn't feel like I've lost this game necessarily. The chosen card is Lion's Eye Diamond. That doesn't do anything, right? Yeah, unless it's a mana ability. Okay. Thank you. Give me a land or a Lotus Petal. Land or Lotus Petal. Come on. Come on. Whew. Okay. Whew. I feel very lucky. I'm trying to think if there's any way I could play around something like a surgical. I mean, surgical I have a non-zero probability of beating just by virtue of the makeup of my hand. I think that's going to be the best pile. So how this pile works, for anyone wondering, is you brainstorm into LED petal, put back Jace and a random card, and then you cantrip into the Jace, and then you use Jace to draw the brainstorm and brainstorm into the last. Well, actually, hold on a sec. I don't even know. Maybe this last card should be. No, I think this is going to be the best pile. All right, let's just give it a shot. Let's see what happens. So I think I should have played the Lotus Petal first. I might have sequenced these kind of badly if they have, and I probably should have put back the Preordain and not the Brainstorm, because if they have the green thing, the green Force of Vigor, I walked right into that, but it doesn't seem like they have it. So if they had Force of Vigor, what I should have done was put Preordain Jace back, and then I had Brainstorm. I could have played Lotus Petal, cracked it for blue, and then I play one Lion's Eye Diamond, and then I can play the other Lion's Eye Diamond if they respond to a Lion's Eye Diamond with Force of Vigor. Like, I just could have sequenced it better, basically, is what I'm saying, to try and play around Force of Vigor. And Preordain versus Brainstorm doesn't play any more or less around Surgical, and I can't beat a Pyroblast at all. So if that's what they have, then that's what they have. It kind of feels like that's what they might have. It is an interesting spot because if they Surgical, I have the Surgical deterministically beaten. I think they're wondering about how I cracked the LEDs. Excuse me. So yeah, they died because they spyglassed wrong. Interestingly enough, even if they had anyway, I'm just gonna do my thing here. So I put the Brainstorm back on top. Milling myself isn't going to work here. I actually have to mill them. So I draw the Brainstorm, and then I can cast the Brainstorm to draw the last 3 cards in my deck and win the game. So, pull that one out of my ass a little bit. I'm not sure that hand that I kept was really a keeper. That 7 was pretty sketchy, but it's okay. We won. So, at any rate, I got my 50 play points back, and I now have enough to play a couple more leagues. So hopefully I can keep kind of cashing them. What does this 1 to 56 mean there? Is that just the odds of getting like a certain thing? I'm really super tempted to crack that chest, but I know I'm not supposed to. I'm trying not to do that. So anyway, thanks for watching to those of you who tuned in for a while. I appreciate it. I wish the league had gone a little bit better, but that's all good. I'll be uploading this to YouTube as well, my YouTube channel. I think if you search the DFT guy on YouTube, you'll find me. So if you didn't catch the whole thing and you want to, you should go there. And I have basically every league, everything I've ever streamed is on YouTube, as well as some things I haven't streamed, just videos that I've recorded. So check that out if you didn't know that already. And thanks for watching.